How do you do? The Box Office Pulp Board feels it would be a little unkind to present this podcast without just a word of friendly warning. We're about to unfold a cinematic commentary track, made by a group of men who sought to create a podcast after their own ravings, without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with three great mysteries of the internet: analysis, observation, and deconstruction. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel you'd not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to, well, we've warned you. Now, to pause and refresh. For your convenience, we have an attractive refreshment stand in the lobby, with buttered popcorn, golden good and hot from the popper, your favorite candies, wholesome and rich, plus delicious Dr. Pepper, so bright and bracing with a tang and tingle unmatched by any other beverage. Enjoy an ice-cold Dr. Pepper at our beverage stand right now, and then return to fully appreciate this bop and a movie commentary track. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Box Office Pulp, your one-stop podcast for movies, madness, moxie, and tonight, the wax shenanigans continue. Yes, we are back on our wax shit. Finally, I know a thing we've promised for approximately 8 years is continuing. We're back with the wax. I'm your host, Cody. Joining me today for this bop in a movie are my co-host, Mike. Say hello, Mike.
You know, since you kind of walk into the exhibit and you're transported somewhere, couldn't you make the argument that there are no wax figures in this film?
Mike, don't ruin this for me.
Okay.
Don't start this.
Okay.
Moving on. I'm just going to cut out your parts of the podcast entirely.
You don't even edit this.
Shh! The people at home don't know I don't do anything.
I'm going to tell Mike to cut you out.
You're ruining the movie magic. And say hello to my other co-host, Jamie.
I have a lot of things to say about this movie, but first and foremost, let me say that as a student of history, my favorite pharaoh was Prince Raoul.
Important background information to have.
No, famously known to be filled with black sludge.
Oh no, I'm looking at my notes, and I think I had a stroke when I was writing the next line, because these words don't make any sense. Out tonight, wax-only coverage continues with Waxwork. I wrote like fucking Charlie Day there for a moment. I don't know what happened to these notes.
I don't
folks,
like when I host show bad.
Fucking Frankenstein typed out that sentence there. Folks, the important thing is we're watching Waxwork tonight, so find yourself a copy. You can find it online. There is a boutique release of this and Waxwork II, Wax in Time. I don't actually know what the subtitle is.
Together, lost in time. Whatever, you know, it should be Wax in Time, because that sounds kind of awesome.
I just
Has
like
a new
that.
wave soundtrack.
I just love that Waxwork 2 is the only sequel to actually be subtitled Lost in Time.
Anyways, those two movies are together on one Blu-ray collection through the Vestron video release. So if you want to get fancy, you can track that down and watch with us. Otherwise, this has got to be online somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere.
It's on several. It's on Prime. It's on Tubi. It's many places. It's very easy to get.
So no excuses, folks at home. Unless you don't feel like watching the movie, then you can just treat us like a normal podcast. But that's on you. All right. So before we get down to the waxening, let's introduce our official drink for the evening. This one's called The Works. Get it? Because the movie's called Waxwork, and this is The Works. I didn't have a lot to do this time. A really
filling sub, yes.
I really phoned this one in. Anyways, what you're gonna need is 2 ounces of chili liqueur. You're gonna need 1 ounce of a mango syrup. You're gonna need 1 ounce of lime juice, and then some Angostura bitters. So the instructions on this guy: you're going to take the chili liqueur and the mango syrup, shake that together with some ice, pour that onto a rocks glass with 1 large ice cube. Then float the... I'm sorry, I've already screwed this up. Your drink is now garbage. Throw that out, start over. You're going to want to shake the chili liqueur with the lime juice.
You've made mustard gas, run!
Oh, God, people will die. Shake the chili liqueur with the lime juice. Save the mango syrup. I apologize. Shake those 2 ingredients together with ice. Pour that onto an ice cube, rocks glass. and then float the mango syrup on top, and then add in a couple dashes mango syrup bitters. Or you can just mix it all together at the same time. I'm not your dad. I also don't know if this is any good. I'm a little nervous about this one, because most of the time when you're using chili liqueur, there's other stuff happening. This is just kind of like to spice it up, not the main ingredient. So this could just be poison. Well, let's find out. The top sip was entirely mango syrup, so I have no idea what the bottom of this is going to be like. But if you really like sugar, there you go.
Question, when you say chili liqueur, are you talking about just taking a pack of chili powder and then mixing it in a drink and stirring it around with a spoon?
You know, you have that option. That's always definitely something you can do. I prefer to use ancho-rays. I think that one's fairly popular. Like you can find that around in most halfway decent liquor stores. So if you want yourself a chili liqueur, you're probably gonna use like 5 times in your life. There you go. One bottle will keep you. I'm a little terrified. I'm gonna take another sip of this thing, and it's gonna hit the pure chili liqueur, and it's gonna fuck me up. But that'll be a problem.
It's like the movie. Every sip is a different experience.
Hey, what a good transition! Thank you, Jamie.
Can I just say I really am taken with, oh no, people will die.
Like Waxwork.
Yeah, you know.
What better for a movie that story began with the director hitting a dude with his car?
I don't have an answer. Let's just go ahead into it, I guess.
Ooh,
Mike,
breathe. Breathe in the sillies.
Breathe
out the sillies. Breathe in the sillies. Breathe out the sillies. Okay, we ready?
Yeah. You want to count us down, Mike?
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I didn't hit the play button. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Woo, Vestron. I am still waiting for your boutique release of Chatterbox, goddammit.
It's, I think, been over a year since their last release, so I'm starting to lose hope we're going to get any more Vestron. But every time I say that, they randomly pop out another Vestron title.
Every Vestron title I got is
top
notch. They're underrated.
Yeah.
It's a fun line. I mean, it's weird to have Chud 2, Bud the Chud, with actual special features. It's just not a thing I ever thought would happen in my life. I'm not necessarily happy about it, but good for them.
It's so weird that they're the ones who got shivers.
Yeah, right? It should be on, like, Arrow or something. I don't understand it at all.
Like, how does Vestron get shivers, but Vinegar Syndrome gets Tammy and the T-Rex? It feels like it should be the other way around.
Look, I'm just happy Tammy and the T-Rex got such a fine release. That
and it deserves it.
So happy.
Also, we passed, but Dracula medallion.
Ooh.
Dracula trophy.
To point out here, I think this was a fun little opening because you got that jaunty music going, and then a man being forced face first into the fire before, like, dramatic music kicks in.
Who kills someone that way? That's so different and weird.
While swing music is playing. Like Mr. Burns is strangling someone to death.
Zach Galligan on the commentary mentions this many times, that the director, Anthony Hickox, basically operates by the rule of cool. It doesn't need to necessarily make sense, but if it looks cool, it's going in the movie. Which I appreciate. Like, you're fucking making a film. It doesn't matter where the light comes from. It doesn't matter where the sound comes from, as long as it's cool.
Who designed the battle wheelchair?
Yeah. So let's do some movie facts as we go through these fire credits. Moving on. Now we have the Waxwork title.
Melting. More Waxwork movie titles need to melt.
That's true. 100% true. Anyways, this film was directed by Anthony Hickox. He did both Waxworks movies. There is a sequel, spoiler. He also is probably most famously known for directing Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, Warlock, The Armageddon, and another kind of goofy, underseen one for Vestron, Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat.
Yeah, is that good? I've always wanted to see that.
It's okay. You got Bruce Campbell being doofy in it, so that's kind of worth the price of admission just for that. I
just to interrupt real quick, I just want to say, I'm 90% sure this kid got adopted by the family from Society. I'm getting very similar vibes from this opening.
I do love this joke of them not being able to see each other because the table's so long, it's got the giant plant in the middle.
I want to know what comic book he's reading at the breakfast table, like a big boy.
I need the caffeine badly. This movie was also written by the director, so, dual threat. our cast. We just saw our main hero walk out. That's Zach Galligan. You know him. Come on. We all know him from the Gremlins movies. It's got to be frustrating as a movie star for basically your first role to be your defining one. Like, no offense to Zach Galligan whatsoever, but I struggle to name any of his other movies besides Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff in
awesome.
the 90s and 2000s. He even popped up in like Hatchet 3 and kind of like a glorified cameo supporting role. So it's not like he's disappeared from the face of the earth. It's just his first role was so big, it's hard to ignore it.
As irritating as I find this character, I really enjoy seeing him play completely against type here.
Yeah.
At no point
He's
is
fun
he
to
looking
watch.
at the camera saying, don't you relate to me?
Yeah, he just commits to being a rich asshole. Even though he's also our main character. It's a weird blend that they've gone for.
What I like is how, with the way everyone's dressed in this movie, it feels like you're watching Return of the Living Dead if the punks never showed up.
I can see that for sure. Let's get through some of the rest of the cast here. We got Deborah Foreman as Sarah Brightman. Deborah actually retired from acting in the 90s and is apparently a photographer now. So that's neat. But she had a long string of horror roles, and it's a little surprising she's not more talked about, I guess, in horror cliques. She was in Grizzly 2, Revenge. Also in Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, which was Hickox's first movie. But then in more comedy stuff, she was in Real Genius. She was in Valley Girl.
Just feels like he's gonna pull out a gigantic lollipop and start licking it while making eye contact.
In my Waxworks, yes. I'm getting to David Warner. I just have one more thing I want to mention.
Also, all these girls being horny for David Warner.
Dressed like that.
It checks out. Deborah Foreman, also, though, most famously in my mind, was in April Fool's Day. A slasher I absolutely adore. I think that one does not get the credit it deserves. I love April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day and Happy Birthday to You are like the two underrated, vaguely holiday-themed slashers.
If anyone hasn't seen those yet, they do have releases. You should go check them out. Obviously, April Fool's Day got like the fancy Scream release a couple of years ago, so I would encourage you just to go out and blind buy that. Just give it. It's fun. Come on, do it. Don't be lame. Do it. It's my peer pressure for the evening. Anyways, as long as he's still on screen, this is David Warner. You know David Warner. He's been in a million movies. You love him. We love him. Let's just run down some of my favorites. He's evil in Time Bandits, which, goddamn, one of the best possible villains, right? How can you one-up being the personification of evil? He has multiple roles in Tron. He's Sark and the Master Control Program. He's in Star Trek's 5 and 6. Who could forget Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2?
He was that TGRI guy.
Yeah. He's in The Ice Cream Man, In the Mouth of Madness, Scream 2, one of my favorite roles of his. The 2001 version of Planet of the Apes. Titanic, it's pretty cool. He got to be in the biggest movie in the world after starring in, Vestron titles.
I like 10 minutes, too. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. And then he gets a little tiny role in Mary Poppins Returns, which I love.
Also, if you have never seen his face before, but you're our age, you have absolutely heard him as Ra's al Ghul in Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, how did I forget? Of course, yeah, like the most important villain role.
He's just what Ra's sounds like to me forever.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, if I hear a voice that's not him, I'm like, eh. That's true of most of the animated series villains, though. Like, when I hear a Clayface that's not Ron Perlman, I'm like, what is this shit?
See, that's
Bane
called...
now. Bane is always just Tom Hardy now. It's ruined.
That's permanent.
Just to pause this commentary for 5 seconds to gas up Andrea Romano, that's called smartly casting movie stars to be voice actors.
Yes.
Hey, how timely. It's an accidental Nazi salute.
Womp womp.
One last casting bit I want to mention because it cracks me up. John Rhys Davies is in this movie as a werewolf. Just in case you weren't sure if you wanted to watch this movie, just have that in the back of your mind. He gets to be a werewolf in this film.
Earlier today, I was watching the old Monster Vision episode on Waxwork, and Joe Bob Briggs referred to the niche John Rhys Davies filled after Indiana Jones as being America's action Pavarotti. And that's just what he is to me from now on. That's all I will think about anytime I'm watching Lord of the Rings. Action Pavarotti.
Fantastic. Jamie, back to your point about this feeling like a Return of the Living Dead thing without the punks. This very much just reminds me of all of the punks just sitting around the car, not sure what they should do with their day. It's got that same vibe going on.
It's weird.
It's preppies, which is so interesting. Like that's one thing I've always loved about Waxwork is it's the 80s horror movie that uses the characters who are usually just in the first act that annoy the main characters. Except this time we follow them around and they have different types of conversations for once. And
while constantly wearing sunglasses. I love that it's just the sunglass brigade this entire first act.
Now some gratuitous slow-mo football shots.
And it allows the movie to also, in like Mark's character, where he is a preppy douchebag and a rich boy, but there's like little, especially the genius of having Galligan play him, because you kind of can't hate Zach Galligan.
Yeah, he really softens up that character just by the innate ability of being him.
And it actually allows for a character arc to like take place, and you actually get to see different shades of a character.
Where I love this beer neon sign in the background. I'm sorry.
That sign's so good. I love this room they're in. I've always been obsessed with this room that seems to be the hangout room that I don't think is in anybody's house.
I think
there's
it is
just
like
a room that exists out somewhere where you go to drink.
This is the rich person version of the basement from that 70s show. We should also mention
they still do the circle, but they're all just drinking Cristal.
Oh, now we're talking. I keep saying, okay, I'm not going to drone on about the cast, but we do have to mention that Dana Ashbrook is in this for a short amount of time.
His first role, I believe.
I think you're correct, yeah. Which
just out of the can, already Bobby Briggs. Perfect. I'm honestly convinced that a lot of the stuff they did with Bobby in season 2 of Twin Peaks that doesn't make a whole lot of character sense is just one of the people on the crew saw this movie and it's like, Ashbrook looks really good in a suit.
Wait a minute. All right, moving on. Our cinematography is by Jerry Lively. Lively was the DP for several low-budget horror sequels, including Hellraiser 3, Hellraiser Bloodline, Return of the Living Dead 3, hey, back to the Return of the Living Dead, and Children of the Corn 3. Plus, he also directed, I know you guys are going to be excited about this, the straight-to-video Dungeons and Dragons movies.
Woo!
They do exist. We have a physical, tangible link to them now. We know
Cody, are you sure you're not just thinking of the Dungeon Siege direct-to-video movies?
Oh, no! No, I wouldn't lie to my audience like that.
What about Dragonheart?
They were still making those as of like 5 years ago. I think
like
COVID is all that could have killed the
yeah.
Dragonhearts.
Some of those things just would never die. Anyways, our music is by Roger Bellin. He also did The Unholy and, this was exciting for me, Highlander, the series.
Wow.
Our editing is by Christopher Sibeli. This movie was released on June 17th, 1988. The budget was $3.5 million, which they spent every single penny of and then couldn't quite make the ending they wanted to. More on that later. But the box office was pretty low. They made about $800,000. However, since this is a Vestron title, their whole deal was selling rentals, right? So I'm without any facts to back me up, pretty sure this movie did very well on VHS. They did get a sequel several years later, so it was good enough for that. And they kept the same creative team around, so Vestron couldn't have been too upset about the return.
Honestly, looking at the critics, the gauge on critic reactions, for the most part, people who liked genre liked this movie.
That's not surprising.
Waxwork is exactly what you would expect it to be looking at the VHS box art. And honestly, I don't mean this as like a dig, but the entire time I was watching this, I could not stop thinking, why isn't this an Empire movie instead of a Vestron? All this feels super Charles Band, but in the warm and fuzzy 80s Charles Band way, not the Full Moon Pictures way.
One thing, I don't know how to fit... Love that cigarette drop. I don't know how to fit this in, but I just want to mention, too, that this movie inspired a video game named Waxworks with an S, so it is slightly different than Waxwork, that came out in 1992. So 4 years after this came out, they managed to pump out a video game. And watching footage of it, it is wild. I mean, the gameplay itself isn't anything that's going to blow your mind, but there's...
Point and click.
Yeah, there's video screens that are just insanely graphically violent for very, very early video games. Like, slit throats from Jack the Ripper and like zombies mauling people.
Immediately,
it's like, wow.
too. That game has no chill.
So that's kind of neat. I didn't know this thing existed. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's a fucking festering skull. Enjoy.
Bitchin' soundtrack, too, which, God, I've become a little bit of an Amiga nerd in the past couple of years. Like, the Amiga is fascinating. It's basically a gaming PC that came out in a time when no one was gaming on a PC, so no one bought it, but lots of games came out for it that people have not really discovered until the past few years. So it's like discovering a lost game console that existed alongside the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. But like their big thing was adventure games. So there's lots and lots and lots of weird movie tie-in point-and-click adventure games that are, by graphic and sound standards, super ahead of their times. And because it's on a PC, they have like a lot of graphic content you couldn't necessarily have in even like a regular mainstream PC game, which would be more like a family-oriented machine. Also, where a lot of 90s animators got their start was animating on the Amiga, because if you couldn't afford the extremely expensive games, you would be justifying the price tag by animating on it.
This has been Jamie's Video Game Corner. All right, so now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of Waxwork. And I kind of love this movie because it stands out so much from all the other Wax movies that we've been watching for this video series. The normal setup for these, right, is people go to a wax museum. Someone, normally the artist, is a murderer, and he's hiding the bodies in the wax. This one goes supernatural. All of these exhibits are supernatural displays, and if you enter them, you actually enter them, which gives them so much freedom. So if you walk into the werewolf display, oh no, you're in a werewolf movie. If you walk into the zombie display, oh no, you're in Night of the Living Dead.
I say I love that Frankenstein design.
It's a neat one.
I really dig that.
It seems very Hammer. You could get away with that in a Hammer.
Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder played Frankenstein once.
Oh, wow.
I
didn't realize. I'm glad that Kane learned to stand still eventually.
So Wilcox couldn't get Jason, but still technically got Jason. I do want to see the version of this movie with all the copyrighted characters he thought he could just put in there.
Right. To the back, it looks like we just passed a display on Freaks. But I love this as a concept. You could theoretically, if this had been a hit, it'd be so easy to do a million more of these. Just pop in a different gruesome display or a movie reference, and then do your little 10, 15-minute homage to it. So you essentially have an anthology movie without... it's tough to...
What is the Invisible Man doing?
He's force-feeding a woman gasoline while still visible, meaning that might just be a Vern victim.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in a gas pump fire, and now he wants revenge?
Now we're talking. If he'd just gone into that display...
It gets me... It honestly shocks me after seeing this movie to know this hasn't been remade. Because
I think it's very tough to get people on board for the idea of a wax-based horror movie in the modern day.
Yeah.
It's just weird because it just seems like even if you kind of played fast and loose with the actual wax museum aspect of it, for what's essentially like an anthology movie with consistent characters, like it seems like that's a very like modular premise. Like you were saying, Cody, you could just do again and again and again. And with like the little bit of cachet you'd have with horror fans, with Waxwork being a deep cut, it's weird that's never, from what I could see, was never even like proposed at any point. Seems like Fede Alvarez or somebody would pull this out of his ass eventually.
Like when we went through the 2000s, like the whole wave of different horror remakes, obviously they started with the big names, but they got down to some of the smaller ones eventually. This seemed like it would have been a prime thing to do in like 2010-ish.
In a world where Willard was remade.
Yeah.
I think this part right here is where you either understand the movie and get on board, or you're just left confused. Where someone just starts doing a self-monologue vaudeville routine about suddenly being in another dimension.
In a shiny, shiny wig.
I was about to say, in the worst wig imaginable. However, all of a sudden, the atmosphere of the movie is completely shifted to it's full-on fog and skewed angles.
So sudden. Like, there's no subtlety to it. Just like nope, just suddenly in the woods.
Yeah, I looked away from my screen watching this the first time, and I had to rewind it to make sure I didn't miss anything, because, yeah, the transition is like a fraction of a second.
And that's brilliant. Like, why? I don't know why movies don't fuck around in that way more often. Like, not everything has to be so subtle. It's funnier this way.
Well, that's the other thing. Horror comedies are kind of a hard sell. So you've got, one, the horror comedy of this. Two, it's kind of an anthology, and those have stopped being popular. So maybe that's why no one would want to try and remake this. There's too many things with strikes against them in the current climate for film. You could do it like direct-to-video, and people probably eat it up, like a trick-or-treat type deal. But I don't know if it would catch on in a theater. I would like to see them try, though. They should also bring John Rhys Davies back. He could just play the same role.
Always. This is I just love this so much. John Rhys Davies was a werewolf one time. Dressed vaguely like Herbert Lom.
And in this movie, too, specifically this movie, like the fact that this movie has the cast that it does, used to the capacity that it uses it, is fantastic to me.
The comedy works so well for me because you have Davies just really hamming it up, going for this big werewolf performance, and Ashbrook can't take it seriously. Like,
I don't think this was the intended gag at all, but this entire movie feels like the Charlton Heston cameo in Wayne's World 2 extended to 90 minutes. Just, hey, legendary actor. Bye, legendary actor.
What a performance, by the way. Just like
not acting off of anyone. He's just like in a bad wig. Just like, go for it, man.
I still say this just happened to Bobby one day. Just fell into an alternate reality.
And then he decides to actually get the wood. Like,
I'm committed to the bit. I'll get the wood.
Such an amazing Looney Tunes sketch that's taking place. This is where Hundreds of Beavers came from. I'm convinced of it.
No, I get a dick. This sucks, man.
Imagine walking back into a cabin and then the guy you were talking to is suddenly a werewolf.
I hate it when it happens, to be honest.
Oh no, they saved on an effect shot. See, I love that werewolf just sliding by.
This makes me so sad because we don't make movies that have this Evil Dead cabin vibe anymore. We could. We just have chosen not to for some reason.
Bring back cabin horror.
Before, we saw the kind of funny werewolf slide in front of the camera. I like the kind of zoomed in gliding camera. Like, we're getting it again right now. And that, to me, is quintessential Evil Dead. Like, put the camera on a board and just push it around. Use that as the POV of the monster. Oh, hello.
Rabbit ears aside, a surprisingly effective werewolf design.
I really like this werewolf, yeah.
I think the ears are kind of off for me, to be honest.
They're off, but I like how they move. So.
Yeah, I think that's why they're huge.
True.
They just really wanted you to notice that they could make the ears move, and they overshot it a little bit.
It makes it seem a little bit more
snarl.
alive. I love that. They're howling werewolves, and I think
Yeah.
that's why I
Very
like it.
howling, yeah.
If it weren't for the ears, I'd be much, much more into the werewolf design. I'll say that. That's like the one thing that distracts me. I do
That
love the
tuft
big
of
old
white
bloody
hair.
teeth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a
Has the
world-
best snarl.
I mean, in a world where it's surprisingly difficult to find actually good werewolves in werewolf movies, I think this is an outlier.
Also, come on. How can you beat a werewolf brushing off his shoulder after getting WWE smacked by a
And then
wooden chair?
tearing a guy in half.
I was so confused the first time I saw this because it looks like he's smushing his head and then all of a sudden it just pops in half. Also, these are the worst werewolf hunters you will ever see in any movie. It's a comedy, so it's fine, but I love how they are so blasé when they walk in like, damn, we're too late. I suppose I'll load my gun now.
Oh, damn, a werewolf.
Can
I
you
was half
believe this
expecting
shit?
to. Yeah, I was expecting the beat for him to like take up a machete and just start slowly like cutting off parts of this guy, being like, "Oh no, there were several bites."
Bobby Briggs is turning into a werewolf. What a world.
You guys
What a
shoot me,
world.
Shelley. You're the only one who loves me.
Then being killed by the hunter from Jumanji.
The classic '80s bladder effects too. Like he's transforming. Make him look like his face
Oh.
is made of tumors.
Bladders. It's a good werewolf face.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Not enough people get killed mid-werewolf transformation.
yeah, and I want to give a shout out to the Foley work on the guns specifically in this movie. Every gun sounds like it's a bazooka. They really they make sure the guns pack a punch. Like later on when they're in the mummy scene and they're just firing the revolver, each one of those bullets looks like it should rip you in half. They really emphasize how strong every gunshot is in this film.
Also, it's weird to say subtle during Waxworks, but I love the subtle joke that it makes a domestic scene. With the werewolf at the dinner table and the son slumped over. Like there's some kind of dysfunctional family.
I
Hey,
think
we're
that scene is in the
entering Dracula
background with the
territory.
crib. It lives?
I think so. There is an It Lives baby later, so.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Maybe I'm overthinking this a little bit, but is she named China because she becomes a doll?
Oh, I could see that.
Otherwise, that's very, very weird.
I also assumed it was just a joke about rich people names.
I can see that also.
So where is this Dracula rate on the
sexiness scale?
In the sexiness scale of Draculas? Where does Ator the Fighting Eagle as Dracula rate?
Oh, Mute Tarzan? God, he is very suave. He's definitely one of the more well-dressed Draculas. He's very Alucard to me in his manner of dress.
Yeah, he is.
And very direct. Like, he just demands things. Like, come here, sit down.
This specifically seems like a video game Dracula to me. Also, all I could think during this scene was, did Wes Bentley base his entire being off of this performance?
I could see that. Someone get Wes on the line. I need to know.
Steak tartare. I just like how this Dracula, though, like,
Xena
has friends and...
Although his dinner parties seem very boring.
He does have a kid, apparently.
I just don't understand. Like, why does he feel the need to gaslight his victims into
Pennywise logic. Everyone
fun.
tastes better when they're scared.
That was the first thing I was thinking of. Like, yeah, you can't let their emotions run out.
a
of
Dracula
control.
with
They taste
actual
bad.
servants too?
Oh, they're probably also vampires.
They're actually him running back and forth really fast, like the Flash.
Raw meat. Yeah, that's a classic vampire thing. We don't really need the blood. We just want raw meat. We don't like cooked food.
It is
It does,
funny. Well, it's funny how rarely you actually see that in movies, just vampires just eating flesh, which would be filled with blood. So it's a visual you think they'd lean into.
It's more of an anime thing, honestly. You see vampires like take bites out of people more in anime than anything else.
I'm noticing this guy's doing like the classic "I am very evil" acting tip of never breaking eye contact, never lowering his eyes, and he never blinks.
And a lot of nostril acting. That mustache is fantastic.
Perot?
I do feel like this scene is also a little bit of a parody of, because her, like, why is she acting like this? And it feels like to me a parody of rich people when meeting other rich people.
You can't
are just going to fall in line with literally anything and act a very certain way. And I like how that can go towards cannibalism.
This just looks like strawberry jam. It doesn't even look like
it looks
raw meat.
Delicious. I just want to say.
Yeah, do it. Come on, do it.
I was going to say, like, it's weird drawing a line to my life from this fucking scene, but this kind of is how doing any activity with preppy people seems to go in my experience. Oh, you're not doing the thing we're all doing? That's clearly something you don't want to do? Oh, well, isn't that very funny? Laugh, everybody.
Etiquette, like rich etiquette, is very cult-like.
Are you guys dealing with a lot of preppy people in your life? I feel like I don't have that many.
I watch them from afar.
They're in a zoo.
Oh, fucking the area of Alabama I live in is very weird because it's in the middle of nowhere, which means the only people who live here are very poor or really rich and they want to be in the middle of nowhere. I once had a lady at my job in a very fine gown come up to me and tell me that in exactly 15 minutes she will be here to purchase a television. And it will be exactly this make and model and cost exactly this much. And if I am not there with the television on a cart in exactly 15 minutes, I will lose every cent of my juicy commission. I had to tell her this was Walmart.
This woman was plotting, like a heist.
Every bit of that sounded like, because it was on a Sunday, it felt like, my stupid husband is watching a football game. And I'm the one who drew the short straw of going to the store and getting a replacement TV.
To point out some of the set dressing here, in that last scene, I loved how it didn't necessarily make sense that the open door behind them apparently goes to the outside, so you just have like foggy moonlight streaming in. But again, it's the rule of cool. It makes for a much more atmospheric room if you can have some backlighting. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't make a lick of sense the way this place is designed. And that hallway shot we had a moment ago too, very fun. I really like. For a cheap movie, it's surprising how good a lot of it looks.
I don't think people, especially these days, appreciate sparse like sets and locations that are usually done for the cheap. Actually, can look really good and have a lot of atmosphere and be very effective. Like just throw like that hallway, it's just some sheets billowing.
It's also
like this
nice.
Room. There's nothing in here, but it has so much personality despite having nothing in it.
Well, the placement of the camera too, you get all the depth with the bed banisters and stuff to kind of break up the scene.
Also, I do wonder how much of a role just subtle movement plays and stuff like that. Like you're saying with like just the billowing drapes. It's like my lifelong obsession with the low budget movie fan in the wall. That you can shine a light through, which immediately decorates your set with nothing. It's like it's like a squiggle vision animation. Like you can make a still image look engaging with just a tiny little bit of barely noticeable movement.
Plus, these last two kind of monster scenes are so atmospheric because they realize the secret. Just pump in a shit ton of fog and some lights. It makes it look so cool. Granted, I think I heard something about like a lot of the Hollywood fog from back in the day having to be basically rescinded because it was giving people cancer. So maybe
Yes.
maybe that's why we're not getting so much fog anymore.
Oh, this is what killed John Wayne.
No, that was the radioactive dust.
Yes.
That was
and there was occasionally
portraying a
asbestos
racist
snow.
role.
Yeah.
I love this room so much. Also, can we just give it up for this actor playing Charles? The greatest performance in cinema history.
Much like the plot of the movie, I love that she enters in a new room and all of a sudden we have a completely different environment and now it's this pure white thing.
I like how a rat found its way in there, in their clean room. Honestly, walking into any room like this in a wealthy person's house is going to be terrifying regardless of context, because whatever goes on in there is a kink.
So do you think they wanted the butcher room to be all white because it would be easy to clean up because they would know where all the spots were?
I wouldn't be surprised, but it makes such a fun contrast to what we've seen before, the very Baroque room, and now it's something surprisingly a little more modern looking and clinical. We don't get vampires in this scenario as much, so this is fun to me.
This room is also, it's wrestling logic, where there's going to be blood splatter everywhere, and like wrestling, if someone is wearing a white outfit, they're going to bleed.
It's guaranteed.
Also, I don't know about you, but I can't take this actor seriously at all, because all I can see is Angelus.
Yeah. If only he also got turned into a puppet.
The vampire becomes less threatening when he has to kind of lunge across the body and he can't quite grab for something.
He appears to be stuck as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
They totally came up with the joke of him jumping onto the foot the day of, right?
It's gotta be. This is too good an opportunity not to do. Put him in a white frilly pirate shirt, have him jump on the leg.
Nobody writes while constructing an action scene, and then he falls onto the dude's leg, and he goes, no, stop, while he fumbles around with the severed leg on his torso, like a turtle on his shell.
Slight missed opportunity to not show the bloody shirt before he gets the knife stuck in him to really exaggerate how silly it is that he jumped on a severed leg, essentially.
I like how Charles is a vampire expert.
He's been here long enough. He knows what's going on.
That's why they came there, so he could assassinate them. He just did a really bad job.
Oh, more bladders.
I feel like that's what would happen if I was ever assigned with taking down Hannibal Lecter. I would just be really taken in by the cuisine and the company, and before you know it, I'm on the table.
No.
We're here
polite, if you're polite, Hannibal's not going to serve you for dinner. You got to be a jerk first.
Also, so this wine bottle gag is the best thing in this movie, right?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a very good gag. The classic Dracula brides.
So fucking ridiculous.
I am very frustrated because my version of this that I watched was on Tubi, which is the pan and scan version, randomly enough, which is also has the cuts. So that scene was just 2 seconds long. I had to look it up online to get the full effect. Because that gag does not work when you cut the middle out.
No, that's such a bummer because it's such a funny idea,
You get the bottles through her chest, but it immediately cuts away the second the wine goes through it.
So you don't get the champagne foam.
Yeah, so it's so blink and you miss it. You don't even realize the shot happened until you think about it a minute later.
Lame. Come on, Tubi, what are you doing?
It's weird. The edited version of this movie, it's just I think there's 10 seconds cut out of it, and it's just extra gore shots. But nothing terribly explicit, just effects going on a little longer.
Well, the movie's fairly bloody, but I think they could get away with it because it's also very funny.
It's super cartoony, yeah.
Yeah, if you're funny in a cartoon, I don't think the MPAA comes down nearly as hard in you. Granted, some of the latter Friday the 13th were also trying to be funny, and they still had to do quite a bit of editing, so maybe I'm talking out my ass.
They also had nudity, and the MPAA hated them.
Yeah, they always did have to deal with their reputation.
That's the big thing with the MPAA of that time, was specifically mixing sex with violence. You can have sex, and maybe you'll get an R rating. You can have violence and get an R rating. But put the two together, you're in X-Town.
Vanilla motherfuckers.
Which is weird, because it's one of those things where it's like... It's like hearing Frederick Wortham talk back in the day. It's like, you start at the nugget of a valid way of thinking, and then you immediately veer off into weird reactionary territory. It's like, okay, maybe we should think a little bit about how we mix sex and violence in our entertainment. Abolishing it completely is not the answer.
What are you talking about? That solves all the problems immediately. See, I like how we started with actual movie monsters. You know, we've got the classic werewolf, the vampire. What else? Sadist. What?
Marquis de Sade, and this chick's into it. She needs an awakening.
God, I feel like we could write an entire book on kink shaming in specifically 80s horror. I love that it's common enough to be a trope that in a horror movie, specifically a slasher movie, if you are into S&M, you are better off dead.
Well, they're talking on the commentary, too. Some of the lines they wrote for the Marquis, they really thought we're going to get scrubbed. They thought the MPAA was going to, like, hit them and tell them, like, you can't do that, or the producers are going to be like, no, you got to change those lines. And no one objected to it. So they're able to just kind of sneak in whatever they wanted. Like,
it's really
no one
surreal
really
to hear.
oversaw them.
Just jealous she had her first orgasm at the end of a whip instead of by your hand. Which is how, weird. Honestly, don't leave your girlfriend alone with me.
It's so surreal hearing that said in a movie from this era, where even in, like, grown up, we're going to talk about how adults fuck movies. They talk about S&M in such skittish high school terms. Hearing somebody, again, not to armchair psychoanalyze, but the S&M scenes in this movie are filmed lovingly, I will say. Like, I do not think somebody was coming in from a outside looking in perspective, which is perfectly fine. But I think that's why that's so unique. While even if there is a very like, oh, she's into dirty things, what does that mean? Kind of implication. Like, it's still, I feel like kink is treated with more respect and dignity than it normally would be in a movie of this era. Which again, weird for Waxwork.
I mean, Hickox did make 2 Hellraiser films, so it feels in line.
And, you know, it's very unique that there's a heroine of the movie who's into it and isn't punished for it necessarily.
And doesn't die.
Yeah. Like that's
or get
cool.
have Bubba Browntree come in and explain to her that she is acting like a goddamn junkie. The second they revealed the tall, the tall butler, I immediately overthought this movie and thought they were going to go for some kind of like multiple aspect thing with Hans. We're like, oh, sometimes Hans is tall when he's doing this. Sometimes Hans is short whenever he's doing this. And now there's just 2 butlers.
They just thought tall, small. That would be funny.
Which, God, despite not having seen this movie until recently, I have had so much affection for Hans in my life. Solely for the reason that in the 90s, the Sci-Fi Channel would use that clip of him opening the door and welcoming you to the Waxwork in the ads for every single Halloween movie marathon each year. So after a while, it was like Hans was the unofficial mascot of the Sci-Fi Channel in October.
Very much, yeah.
I will always think of him with that channel more than I associate him with Waxwork.
As long as we're talking about the butlers, though, I want to go back to the Waxwork video game for a second, because for whatever reason, they've decided to make the butler servant character in that game like some sort of 7-foot tall version of the butler from the Addams Family. Like, he's just ripped and very tall, and it's
he's ripped lurch. It's very strange. He's
I don't know why they went
bursting
that direction.
out of a tight suit.
Yeah. And he hands you I think it's like an orb, right? So you can like communicate with your dead father. Or cousin,
this game has nothing to do with Waxwork. I think they were going off 4-year-old memory of seeing this once.
It's vaguely the same, right? Because in the video game, you enter realms like, oh, there's an Egypt land, and you just kind of enter in the Waxwork display, and it takes you back in time so you can fight an evil brother.
Yeah, all of the evil wax figures are evil twins in your family, I think.
Yes, it's your family. From what I remember, one of your distant relatives caught a witch stealing a chicken, and as punishment cut off her hand, so she put a blood curse on your entire family's bloodline. So every time twins are born, one of them will become incredibly evil. So the point of the game is you have to go to like 4 different lands and kill off evil versions of your great ancestors, including like Jack the Ripper, or some sort of evil mummy, a vampire in a graveyard. I don't know what the last one is. And after doing that, then you go back in time and prevent the curse from even happening in the first place. So as you can tell, not quite the same as Waxwork the movie, but it hits some of the ideas.
It'll satisfy that itch Waxwork fans had at the time.
Can I say I've always found this very sweet in this movie, that he doesn't want her to know she did a bad job.
I'm fascinated by this sequence, because doesn't this seem like a joke from a John Hughes movie?
Oh, yeah.
Very much.
Like,
forcing the maid to write your paper for you, and it's garbage.
That just sounds like something Patrick Dempsey would have done.
Why the Deutsch angle?
I was just wondering that. I'm like,
throws me off.
This is like a normal scene, and like they just felt the need to spice it up, I'm assuming, because it's just kind of a conversation piece without anything actually cool going on.
Well, again, every time you're in this kid's house, I just feel like we're in society, and something very terrible is about to happen. Didn't there used to be more of us?
Why do we always go to the middle of the bleachers?
It's the best spot.
It just seems like a far way to walk, and we're in the sun.
The kids from I Saw the TV Glow are having a really heavy conversation 20 feet to the left, and they don't want to bother them.
They're on the other side behind the bleachers.
Pennywise is actually underneath them.
There's 6 horror movies happening right now on various sides of these bleachers.
Bleachers on the edge of forever.
I love this extremely belligerent detective.
Who is just fucked up on caffeine, by the way.
Yeah. You know how many people go missing every week?
Because he can't have caffeine.
And boiled in wax? I don't think he said anything about boiling him in wax.
I just said it was a waxwork.
Also, real quick, you cannot, I don't think you can see this in the widescreen version, just the pan and scan. The girl who goes to the window, like, makes a kissy face at him. That's what she's stopping for.
Ah.
That just stuck in my head when I watched this the other day, because, like, that is such a, like, weird little sweet gesture from, like, it only has to be just the director getting bored and going, hey, what if you did this in the background? That'll make the
audience do some busy work. It's a little sad. On the commentary track, it's the director and Zach Galligan together. And pretty much it feels like most of Galligan's comments on the movie were him fixating on his weight in this film. Because a lot of the reviews gave him shit about it because he put on a couple of pounds from Gremlins.
There was
Gilbert Gottfried made fun of him.
Yeah,
that was the main thing he mentioned, especially like in that scene when he's walking up and he's wearing a polo that's tucked in, which isn't exactly flattering. And I believe Godfrey's comment was like, and next up, Zach Galligan after 40 cheeseburgers.
Oh.
So I feel so bad for Galligan. You can tell it bothered him so much. Yeah.
He's also objectively quite good looking in this movie, so fuck off, Gilbert. R.I.P.
Although I agree the polo was probably not like the best choice. I guess, yeah, you're trying to show him as preppy and not necessarily the greatest guy in the world, but
he does look like me in a polo shirt right now. Not very fun.
Yeah,
I would not wear
with a suit coat, and that was a much better deal. Like, we made a mistake.
Well, Werner is just so well dressed in this movie. Just it pulls everything towards him.
It's a little bow tie and sweater vest.
I love that this dude was like, okay, he's employing a little person. You gotta be able to arrest him on that.
That's the little people have been outlawed for 300 years.
Yeah, he has the fascination with little people that David Lynch had. I just want to know their ways and their customs.
It's little people, big crime.
Can that be the new Ed Brubaker? Can that be the new Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips book?
That's got to already exist somewhere. Someone's done that idea, I'm sure.
Oh no! There was an Image comic called Big Man Plans that was about a little person with a bat fucking up people.
Oh yeah. Also, I love this mummy holding court.
It's such a great gag, too, because anytime he's in the background, you're going, so when does he move? So when does he move? They wouldn't put him in the background if he's not going to move.
I like that David Warner just, like, gets bored of people not entering the exhibits, and he's just pushing them into them, like, come on, let's get this done.
Oh, my penny!
One thing I think is interesting about this movie compared to all of the other Waxwork murders that we've seen is traditionally the guy owning the Waxwork is either a mad scientist who is trying to play God, or he is a mad artist who is trying to give himself something that he can't get normally. So, maybe he's making a family, maybe he's making a lover. This movie, David Warner has about zero interest in any of the exhibits as far as I can tell. Like, it's a means to an end. Like, I'm just going to make an elaborate waxwork so I can try and get revenge on various people that I've had a beef with for generations.
And then profit.
Also maybe make some money. Who knows?
I mean, honestly, Werner's motivation just boils down to Satan.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I'm not criticizing it. It's just interesting because it feels so different from every other wax movie out there.
I have a hard time, like, we see where he makes wax figures and shit. I don't see this character making wax figures.
I think they only threw that in at the end because it's obligatory. Like, we have to have
the same thing. That's the shot that has to be in every wax movie.
Yeah, like by law, we got to do it.
Also, we passed it a second ago, but if there's one thing from the 80s and like early 90s, like one pop culture joke that is nearly impossible to explain to young people today, it's we were really preoccupied with the idea of Nazi war criminals hiding out in America under comedically everyday jobs. That was in a lot of movies and sitcoms.
That one's rolling back around. That one somehow turned out to be timely.
But those weren't original Nazis.
To go back to the previous location where the detective's in his office, I just want to comment on how resourceful this movie is. We've already mentioned it, but I love going back to the kind of classic noir setting of, okay, put the camera directly behind the ceiling fan to make what would otherwise be a very boring scene to film kind of visually spicy. It's not too exciting, it's not too distracting, but it definitely is like, this breaks up the scene. This makes it way more interesting than it would have been if it was just a straight up static shot. Now we get kind of a fun precursor of the House of Wax remake. Obviously, this is a corpse, so it's not as... Yeah, I mean, the House of Wax one's great because the guy's still alive and you see his eyeball rolling around. But actually peeling off the wax to reveal the corpse underneath is always a good gag for one of these films.
It's weird. I think it's just because of an innate fear of, like, hollowing out I have. But this eked me out so much more than the House of Wax scene.
It's gnarly, yeah.
It's like you've clicked on the wrong YouTube video and you can't click off fast enough.
Well, the thing that gets me about it is when he's pulling out the muscle, it doesn't behave like movie gore. It acts more like wax. It feels like this is just an anatomically perfect wax model. Which, it's evil magic. It's possible. Oh no, a Ouija board! Ah!
Oh, speaking of evil magic.
Yeah.
That's the origin of evil.
I got into an argument with my parents a couple weeks ago because they asked me if I would use a Ouija board. I'm like, yeah. I don't associate any sort of magical evil to a Ouija board. They're mass produced by, like, Parker Brothers. It's a toy.
They have a trademark on them.
Yeah, there's, like, no direct connection to evil on these things. It wasn't like, we brought them up from the 1400s. But I want a collection
surprised. Of Ouija boards.
I'm just surprised at how many people legitimately view Ouija boards as tools of the paranormal. It's like, guys, I'm pretty sure you could just get a piece of paper and a Sharpie and just do the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it just comes down to, are you putting sigils everywhere? Are you lighting candles? Or are like, because at that point, your board's not going to do anything.
That's just a communication method. It's like the blinking lights in Stranger Things. It's not particularly special. It just does the job because it's available.
What's so funny is, like, the justification for that I've heard my entire life is, yes, obviously it's just a Parker Brothers board game, but you give it power by making it important.
That could be true of anything. You don't gotta buy a board.
My bong can summon the dead if I want it to, if you're putting that fucking logic to it.
Jamie, I believe there's a whole movie series from Charles Band about that.
No!
Has anyone actually seen the Evil Bong movies?
Ooh, I've seen the original whenever Elvira did it for one of her returns a few years back. It's weird saying this about Evil Bong, but that is one of the most disappointing movie experiences I've ever had.
Oh.
Just because it's
such
not
a silly
fun
idea.
Bad at all. It's really lame bad and the unfunny kind of offensive and very ass-pinchy and just a lame movie.
This is very disappointing, especially since they made several of them. So even though it was crap, apparently people just latched onto what a funny name it is and kept going.
Every now and then I'll throw one of those on and just skip around, because every now and then there's, like, actors that show up, like Diana Prince, who it's like, oh, I'll see them just interact with a puppet for 5 minutes. And yeah, it's like 7 movies of, we have one location and characters walk in and say things and then they walk out, and then another group of characters walks in, says things, and walk out.
And we have the one joke.
All right, I want to jump into mummy talk here.
Mummy! We've got to do more mummy stuff.
Probably my favorite segment in the movie. Also, the detective just striking a match on the side of the wall. So cool. We don't get people smoking in movies so much anymore. Yeah. So it's very weird to be like, oh wow, look at that cool dude.
I love how this one detective was just, like, obsessed with the mummy for some reason. My kind of guy. It's like, okay, I'll help.
Why not? Also, a fun cutback here to using Swan Lake music, which obviously was the little bit of music, the only music we got for Dracula, I believe. Did they also use it for Frankenstein?
It's used in The Mummy.
Yeah, I know Universal pulled it out for the opening credits of a lot of their monster movies.
Yeah.
It's funny as considering the
oh god, it's a giant spider.
Where'd that spider even get in there from?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But
it's
awful.
Tunnel.
Great corpse. That is a good corpse.
Considering how few effective mummies there really are in cinema, it's funny how this really is one of horror's best mummies by default.
Yeah, I mean, there have been obviously a lot of low-budget kind of mummy movies. There was the Tom Cruise mummy. It's
good heavens, it's the Mummy. Sorry, I just could not let that. I can't let that go. I mean, that's.
But look at this wonderful zombie mummy design. This guy looks cool. I love the design of the pyramid, which is well lit. You can see everything in it, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but who cares? The mummy's like got ooze coming out of its mouth. This is a cool mummy.
Zombie up your mummies, please.
Yeah.
Really, he has super strength.
Well, the only thing that a mummy has going for it as a movie monster is you're a zombie with powers. So lean into that.
Yeah. Trying to think, if I'm ranking mummies here, I don't know. The Hammer Mummy is really good just because, Christopher Lee is so jacked. Like, that's an intimidating looking mummy.
That is the greatest scene in cinema history. The mummy bursts in through a back door. Peter Cushing pulls up a shotgun and tries to blow the mummy away. That's art right there.
That one's a really good mummy. Obviously, I love the original Universal Monsters mummy, but we don't get that much time with the mummy in full makeup. They got Karloff for, that opening scene. We don't even get to see him do anything, really. He just kind of walks off, yeah.
The Mummy is a lame movie.
I like it, but I wish there was more to it.
Yeah.
It feels like it's weird saying this about, a Universal horror classic that stood the test of time for 100 years, but The Mummy really feels like a first draft.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's just the Dracula script with some words changed. The arms opening up to accept her is so fucking good. But the
makeup work really saves the movie, and Karloff is fantastic in it. Those two things are
the only reason to watch that.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's a bad mummy movie.
Then obviously, probably the best would be the 1999 Stephen Sommers Mummy, which, I don't know, obviously there's a lot of CGI going on there, but that's a good movie action mummy. It's gooey, it's fun. That movie itself is just a very fun movie.
The Hand of the Mummy's not too bad.
Yeah.
I had a year where I watched every fucking mummy movie in a single month.
Yeah, all of the sequel mummy movies that Universal did that were sequels to themselves and not the
Which is what
Boris
everyone
Karloff one.
thinks of The Mummy.
Yeah.
Of course, is all the sequels to The Mummy, because that's when Karras is actually a shambling around corpse.
Yeah. Which I don't love any of those mummy movies, even though those are the ones everyone thinks of. Even the Mummy remake is mostly going off the Mummy sequels.
Yeah. They're fun, but I mean, they're not really good movies.
They're much more B movies than the original Mummy was in my mind. Obviously, none of the original Universal monster movies were super prestige, but they were treated with a little bit more respect than the sequel territory when we got into House of Dracula territory.
Yeah, the original is so grandiose, and the sequels are fun, but they're better than the Dracula sequels.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I just want to say, one of my favorite old movie gags, this character you met 20 seconds ago was in a wheelchair the entire time. Did that blow your mind? People in wheelchairs can exist.
What? One last thing I want to say about mummies here. The mummy from Monster Squad, right up there. That is a fantastic mummy. Doesn't necessarily have a lot to do because it's not a mummy movie. It's Eric Trump. But the design, the makeup on the mummy from the Monster Squad, I really love. The kind of exposed skeletal face.
Yeah, I did not realize I had seen the Monster Squad as a child until a couple of years ago when I just watched a clip of that mummy. Oh, that's what all mummies are to me. I have a primal memory of mummydom, and it's the mummy from Monster Squad. Which is why it has always been in my head, and I never knew where I got this from. That you can kill a mummy by unraveling him.
I think that came from a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
I think I have seen that in cartoons before, yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, wouldn't that be the only thing holding his bones in?
Enchanted rags. Also, look at Patrick McNee just hamming it up as the man who procured artifacts from the 18 evilest souls.
The number of the devil. He's having so much fun.
Divide 18 into 3.
Mm-hmm. God, I was telling the guys this before we started because I was worried I was going to forget this bit of information, but The turnaround on this movie was so quick that all of the people doing the model work, like making the wax dummies and doing the face molds for the decapitations, were on the opposite side of the Earth and in very, very limited communication with the production. So they had to make these before casting was finalized and they knew who was playing the characters. So all of the figures are sculpts of the sculptors and not the actors. Except for Patrick McNee, and they just put in an old VHS of the Avengers and then made a sculpt of his face based on what they were looking at. And that is blood, sweat, and tears, gentlemen.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's pulling out a fucking 40 of malt liquor, grabbing a fucking cigar and saying, "We're making movies, boys, lock the doors."
As long as we are discussing the 18 most evil beings, I've got the wiki up, so let's just run through those quick. Obviously, there's the Marquis de Sade, who will be playing a much larger role when we get back to the Waxwork.
Kink shaming, by the way, calling him the most evil beings.
Evil beings!
I would love for them to walk in on the actual Marquis de Sade, and it's just a dude riding in a jail cell. Are you here to rescue me? Robespierre?
Also, each one has to just get one victim. It's very weird. This has been like an ongoing con for 100 years, and it's taken this long to get 18. Anyway, so Marquis de Sade. There's a werewolf, just a werewolf. That werewolf alone, though, was the most evil one.
That evil zombie.
Count Dracula, and Wikipedia does mention his brides and son exist only within the portal and are not among those displayed. So they don't count. The numbers add up, nerds.
Oh, so his son's not canon.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Audrey
a golem.
2 is in there. I don't know if it's counting the plant or the lady who was inside of it.
We'll get to that. There's the Phantom of the Opera, the Mummy, George A. Romero-style zombies, which I guess collectively count as one?
So the idea of George A. Romero zombies is okay.
I think. They don't have these numbered, so maybe like the zombies make up with the other guys. Frankenstein's monster, Jack the Ripper, the Invisible Man, a voodoo priest, a witch, a snake man, Rosemary's Baby, an axe murderer, an alien, a giant talking Venus flytrap, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So hold on, let me count these and see if it actually adds up to 18.
I don't think they should count Dr. Jekyll because he was fine.
He runs up.
Yeah.
I love that this and Neon Maniacs are the two ensemble monster movies where one of the monsters is just a dude from Africa.
Okay, so if you count zombies as one collective whole, this does add up to 18 individual evil beings.
Well, was the sideshow freak in there?
The Snake Man? Maybe that's what they mean by Snake Man?
Was the Snake Man the sideshow? Maybe.
Because in Freaks, right there's the one guy with no hands who has to like light cigarettes using his lips only.
Though I thought there was also a Gill Man in here. And I thought that was the Snake Man.
You know, this is Wikipedia. They could definitely be wrong.
Yeah.
They do have a source cited, though. The Essential Monster Movie Guide, A Century of Creatures in Film by Forrest J. Ackerman. So,
if it's Ackerman, it's solid.
Yeah, like, come on. He wouldn't lie to us.
My God, the adamantium.
Once it cools, unbreakable.
I was teeing you up. So I'm glad you knew where I was going for.
David Warner looks at a gauge in the bottom of a dam and goes, "No!"
Honestly, if an X-Men movie had been made in the 80s, he would totally have been the scientist behind Weapon X.
That or Magneto. Warner was born to be 80s Magneto.
Wow, yeah.
My God, he would have worn the good guy Magneto outfits.
Oh, the M
pajamas.
gown.
Yeah, the M pajamas.
All right, they must have gotten product placement from Zippo because they actually showed the Zippo lighter tank. Okay, damn you, Eric Trump, tall Eric Trump.
I am obsessed with Desaad's serving girls, who look like they came out of Lair of the White Worm or something.
Right?
I do want to mention here, the guy on the right who is not the Marquis de Sade, the English prince, that is the director. That's Anthony Hickox.
Yeah,
Seeming very comfortable amongst all of this S&M.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he was, like, the fact that he was he cast himself in this role was a reference to the outrageous and infamous parties he was known to throw.
They do mention that in the commentaries.
Which, that has different connotations today.
Yeah.
So why is Desaad a pirate?
Hey, they could have been fun sex parties.
I assume he just cast himself because, like, they needed a guy with an English accent, and he was English, so...
And there's no money.
And no money,
He looks extraordinarily dandy.
But this is stretching the director cameo bit pretty far. Like, he's an actual character. He gets a scene.
He just wanted to get a really good look at what they were doing in the scene.
I mean,
and what's impressive is he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, If I didn't know any better, I would assume he was a director just popped in there. I mean, we kind of get a scene a little bit like this in Hellraiser Bloodlines. So, I think this is just his thing. He just likes these scenes.
That scene really does have this aesthetic. I never thought about that.
It's very weird saying this considering what a Hellraiser nerd I am. I've never seen Bloodlines, but Waxwork makes me want to see it. Even more so than Hell on Earth.
I have a soft spot for Bloodlines.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but I'm into it. I think people are bummed out because it could have been something very different.
That's my thing, why I've never sought it out. I feel like it would bum me out. Because I know what that movie was supposed to be.
But the nice thing is we do have the novelization of the original script out now. If I'm remembering right, I think that's through Encyclopocalypse.
I believe so, yeah. The dudes that do all the movies.
Yeah, so they got like Hickox involved in that. And that's really cool. If you're a Hellraiser fan, that's definitely worth checking out. It is a bummer we didn't get that version done exactly. Because I think it would have been such a cool way to cap off Hellraiser. Just imagine that was the version of Hellraiser we got, and then there were no direct-to-video crappy sequels. That would have been a really cool way to end that series.
As it stands, the release version at least has substance.
It works for me. Plus, the Arrow version, I think, has a work print cut that's a little different.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the full thing. You're not going to get all the stuff you've been missing. Some of it wasn't even filmed. But it's better than nothing. This is a fun little zombie homage.
These are solid zombies. And there's some, Italian zombie.
Yeah, like the one we just saw, like very Fulci zombie teeth.
It blew my mind when I found out they filmed this in, like, a couple of hours. This looks like something they slaved over for a week.
But they get like a really cool mashup of aesthetics of George Romero and Italian zombies, like you're saying. Stupid hand gag. Back to Evil Dead 2.
So good. Mm-hmm. That hand's going to be the villain of the sequel.
They thought the hand was the breakout character of this movie. This is our pinhead.
I love black and white filmmaking tricks. The one they mentioned on the commentary was that Galligan's hair was dyed like ugly bleach blonde, so it would show up correctly.
I'm convinced the weird Doctor Who outfit that David Warner was wearing at the beginning of the movie was meant to be shot in black and white.
I could see that. That would make a lot more sense. Because, yeah, that hair would have looked stupid as hell in real life in color. But in this segment, it's perfect. It's kind of like finding out that the blood in the shower scene in Psycho is just, Hershey's syrup.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Run from the tall man.
And the classic, we're going to make him look longer and taller than he is by giving him jacket sleeves that are way too goddamn short.
I'm surprised that wasn't Doug Jones.
What a one-liner.
I love how much bar fighting there is in this movie across time.
Yep. Well, they said that was essentially what they had to do for the ending. The original plan was they were going to literally jump through time in different eras and zones. But because Hickox saved that for the end of the movie, they had blown their budget. And the bondholder told them, hey, you have 1 day to finish your movie. I'm not giving you any further cash. So they had 4 days scheduled to do this big, huge finale. And they had to pare it down to essentially a series of fistfights.
Better, I say.
But honestly, I love the ending of this movie. It is so fucking bonkers and out there. It goes so far and hard.
A legion of good guys who are all octogenarians get into a pub fight with movie monsters from across time.
Fucking Jenkins appears to be the greatest character ever. He needs to team up with the dude from House 2.
I'm so glad I went into this movie almost entirely blind, because the moment he picks up that phone, I said out loud, oh, is he calling together the Adventure Society to fight the monsters? 15 minutes later, the Adventure Society has been resumed to fight monsters from across time.
One thing I want to point out here, Anthony Hickox is the son of Douglas Hickox, who, made a lot of films throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, including, drumroll, Theater of Blood, which I thought that would get a bigger response here. Apparently you guys don't really care for that one as much, but come on.
I love Theater of Blood. I thought there was more coming after that.
No,
it's awesome that he did Theater of Blood. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I know, really confrontationally.
He did other stuff too, but that was like the most impressive one in my mind. He did Zulu Dawn, Brannigan.
His mother has several Oscars for editing. Like, he comes from a prestigious Hollywood family. And let me tell you, we would not be having nepotism discourse if more children of Hollywood families did schlocky B movies. Like, no, this is what you should use your cachet for.
I love how that's what, like, I'm going to be a rock star, and then I'm going to write Waxworks, and then direct Hellraisers.
It's just very amusing to me that of all, like, if you told me, oh, this is Jimmy, this is Jimmy Carpenter, like, this is what he turned out to make. Oh, this is Roger Corman's son. Of course he made Waxwork. The dude who directed Theater of Blood and the cinematographer, or the editor of Lawrence of Arabia, that I did not see coming. Which I guess makes this movie more charming, because whether or not that was on Hickox's mind or not, it very much feels like a nod to his father's work in a way.
Yeah.
Especially with how much Hammer love there is in this and how much old Hollywood love there is. I was like, God, this dude's not Jason Isaacs' performance makes me sad.
Yeah, I was saying that the whole time. I just wanted to bring up the family connection, though, because Hickox mentioned he was talking to his dad about this, and his dad told him the advice, like, hey, you always have to film the ending first, because that's the most expensive thing you have. So if you ever run out of money, at least, like, you can skimp on the beginning of the movie, the middle of the movie, but you don't want, like, to cut out your ending. So, unfortunately, a lesson you learned too late. One other thing I wanted to mention here that blew my mind, I didn't even realize there was a Prince Valiant movie, but Hickox made that as well. Apparently,
I knew that
existed.
Disaster. I didn't know it happened, or that I knew it happened. I didn't know it was directed by anyone I'd heard of.
The film was described by one of its actors, Warwick Davis, as a disaster from start to finish, which was premiered, panned, and bombed.
And Warwick is saying that.
Warwick blamed this on Hickox, who he said seemed intent on partying all night long and giving roles to his friends.
That just sounds like a good time, though. What are you to do with Prince Valiant?
Yeah,
if I know.
I'm just imagining it's that fucking canon Mata Hari movie where she's topless the entire time, but it's just this dude with no pants.
The power of Zach Galligan here.
I'm going to be honest. I'm on team leave her to the perverts. It's like, come on, she's having a good time, dude.
Yeah, right. Don't take her back to your vanilla hell.
She seemed like she was having an okay time here, except for the fact you were going to murder her, but...
Come on, let's go have missionary over and over and over again through a sheet.
What is he, Amish?
Magic underwear. Okay, potentially a hot take in today's far more regressive climate, but I am of the opinion that as long as they are not tricking actors into doing things they themselves don't realize are sexual at the time, more directors should put their fetishes in movies. It's interesting.
100%.
I saw people talking about David Lynch just being a full-on horn dog, but how it was okay when he did it because he was very open about it while not actually trespassing on people. Like, they knew what was going on. David Lynch is just going to be like, "Awooga! Wow! The most beautiful lady I've ever seen!"
I found out, listening to You Must Remember This, when Karina Longworth was talking about sex in movies in the 80s and 90s. That's how Adrian Lyne directs sex scenes.
Like David Lynch?
Yeah, according to his actresses, Lyne is not sensitive enough to like intellectually make the cast very comfortable on set during a sex scene, but he still is a consummate professional, so he wants the environment to be good. So while doing like Fatal Attraction and An Indecent Proposal, during the sex he would stand off to the side going, "Ooh, baby, yeah, you are making my dick stiff. Awooga." And they said it was the funniest fucking thing they had ever heard. And it actually worked because it was impossible to take it seriously because the director was being such a clown about it. Like, you gotta, I think it was like, blanking on the actress's name, but she was like, yeah, you'd think that would be really off-putting, but in context, that was like the sweetest thing I'd ever seen. It was very dad-like. Like,
it's very adorable.
I don't actually know how to talk to women and make them feel comfortable, so I'll just make a clown out of myself, so everyone's laughing.
I'm sorry,
This
I want
is
to go
what we
back.
did before intimacy coordinators.
Yeah.
Directors had to make Tex Avery wolf noises, but now they can't because of wokeness.
I want to go back to Prince Valiant, the movie, for a second, because I looked up the cast listing for it, and Jesus Christ, Katherine Heigl was in this.
Jesus.
She was like one of the main characters. Thomas Kretschmann was in here. Udo Kier. We've got Ron Perlman, Warwick Davis.
The 1997, Jesus.
Yeah, Anthony Hickox cast himself as Sir Gawain.
Oh my God, Stephen Moyer as Prince Valiant is so... I can't tell if that's stupid casting or amazing casting.
Isn't Prince Valiant supposed to be blonde? On the poster, he's got dark hair.
Yes,
the important thing, though, is Ron Perlman
from True Blood as Prince
Ron
Valiant.
Perlman made the top listing of the poster. That's the important part. That's all I care about. Anyways, oh God, it's all the monsters. I like that the main heroes in this weren't even important. They just got two other people to die, and like, there we go. There's our 18. We didn't actually need like the great descendant to come in and die in this place. It's fine.
Thankfully, there's a lot of teens in this town that want to go to a Waxworks.
David Warner really sells that line, but it's so stupid. Run! There's nowhere to run. Oh, there's a snake man.
What must have been on his mind when saying that? Because I feel like it was what was going through the actor who played Mark's head in The Room when he said, "Keep your stupid comments in your pocket." Like, I feel like David Warner had a dark night of the soul saying, run, there's nowhere to run.
And he filmed his entire role in 2 days.
I'm so confused by this. If evil gets out, it will contaminate the world. What does that mean? If fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are seen at a pub, like all of a sudden the world gets eviler? What happened? I don't
They
get how
seem to be terrified that these 18 wax figures will destroy the world. Also, I love that the brain alien dude was real at some point.
This is so fucking delightful.
His battle wheelchair with the crappy
It's
wooden
camouflage. And then they beat the shit out of the Invisible Man.
Hey, I'm just a guy.
I'm not invisible.
Stop!
I'm not invisible.
Let me take off my
just a burn
pants.
victim.
I was a Nam.
Oh, no.
What I love is this movie's screenplay was written in 3 days. That is completely unrelated to this ending existing.
Why did they all bring knives and bats? Why didn't they bring guns?
Because they're old.
The recoil will kill them.
Stab him!
You've seen
Stab him!
X.
Help me!
By the way, did we go into the reason this movie exists?
No.
I think we just hinted at it. I don't think we said it directly.
Yeah, if you want to give him the full works.
Which is just...
The full Waxworks.
Yeah, thank you.
What I love
Nobody gets
is...
one.
It's so stupidly simple, it sounds like someone telling a fake story to cover up like a crime or something, but Hickox hit another car just driving around LA, and while he and the driver were exchanging insurance information and waiting for things to get sorted out, the guy goes, "Hey, I'm a producer and I really need to get a movie made soon, and you said you're a director. You want to direct a movie for me?" And 3 days later, he had a screenplay. A screenplay which they shopped around to like every horror studio at Hollywood, and shockingly, all of them said, go to hell.
Including Vestron.
Which they then had to sneak the script past all of the people between Hickox and the CEO of Vestron and personally deliver it to him, and he fucking loved it. Which implies that there was a barrier constructed around the head of Vestron to prevent this movie from happening.
Look, we know what Vestron releases are like. Let me just ask you a question. What was the line for the people who did quality control?
I would like to reiterate for the second time in this commentary, Vestron released Chatterbox.
Kiss this. Hickox must have had just maxed out charisma stats. Because even Galligan, like, he admitted, I didn't want to do the movie. Like, I had no interest in it. Like, I'd read the script and I'm like, this is not for me. But he went to a lunch with Hickox anyways, and Hickox just charmed him so much. He's like, well, all right, I'm in the film.
He seems like a nice guy to hang out with.
Or he just
Jenkins
poured
behind you.
He just poured rock and roll cocaine onto the table.
Yeah. Oh, he just has it in his veins at all times, so he just opens up his wrist like a vampire and just pours out.
Acting.
Jenkins, no.
Poor sweet Jenkins.
The heroic death of Jenkins.
Hey, I'm also dying over here. Is anyone gonna pay
God, this
attention to
movie
me?
is beautifully ridiculous.
Stab that zombie. By Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of Orvan, you shall be avenged.
Wait, I just note, he was lighting that dude on fire. He poured gasoline on him. Holy
Jesus
shit.
Christ. Shoot that baby, yes.
Oh, there we go, yep. Oh, the It
And
Lives
this
baby
fucking
does not live.
glorious moment.
Wasn't the same gag used in fucking Fright Night at the start? Anytime you just grab a bat and shoot it in the face, it's just such a funny idea.
This blowing Dracula away in bat form.
Eat
Hans,
lead, you
no.
son of a bitch.
I'm so
doesn't even-
impressed
He
they
wasn't
gotta
a
feed me in
monster, he
there.
was just small.
She doesn't even throw him. She gently pushes him in and just wipes her hands.
That's a hate crime. Yes, you did kill your friend. I like to think because of Jenkins' involvement that the implication is that all of these men were former butlers.
Yeah, it's a butler society.
This is the Council of Pennyworths. Why is the Marquis de Sade a pirate?
I like that they settled. No one knows. I like that they settled on him being the most evil of all of them. Though.
He's the fucking villain
main
of the
villain.
movie.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. What I appreciate about that is, the actual Marquis de Sade would fucking love that. So yes, I was very thin and very rakish, and I was a swashbuckler, and I had many, many fancy parties at that big mansion I totally had. Yep.
I was also the best at swords.
I wasn't just a rider.
Sneaking in.
I love how important
no
it is.
peripheral vision.
I love how important it is to any movie with heavy sword fighting that nobody has peripheral vision.
It's a little sad, though, we don't get David Warner doing the sword fighting here.
Yeah. David Warner just removed from everything and just filmed separately from everything else that's happening.
Yeah, he doesn't even really interact with anyone.
Oh, they film Warner like he is a late-stage Donald Pleasance performance.
Pleasance was on the short list.
Was he?
Yeah, him and Christopher Lee and shit.
Oh, man. We got pretty lucky with the cast we had, but you always have to imagine what it'd be like to have another Christopher Lee performance.
Yeah, but
Warner fits the tone so much better than those guys.
Yeah, he has that perfect knows how to play smirking aloofness that the movie has.
Well, he's both taking the role seriously, but also clearly is aware that he is in a very silly movie and adjusts his performance accordingly. So it's very perfect. He's both a straight man and winking at the camera at the same time.
And he doesn't even have a lot to do in the movie, but he's him. So you get a great impression anyways. You get a lot of mileage out of a little bit of David Warner.
I don't think we appreciate that the dude from Gremlins sword fights the Marquis de Sade.
Why are we doing a gladiator thing here?
David Warner said wimp. Why do you say school time's over? He doesn't know he's school-aged.
You're clearly a grown man.
None of this makes a lot of sense.
Well, he's at the end. Like, this is the final lesson of the Marquis' School of Pain.
I've been axed.
You were into it.
Is this
so
foreplay or back play?
At least he died coming.
Oh, he's like the dude from Necromantic.
Oh, no. Two little splurts.
And then suddenly David Warner just has a fucking machine gun.
That he had stowed up there. He just pulled it out from the rafters.
Well, no,
I love that.
He seems to have a miniaturized harpoon gun that shoots bullets. I have no idea what's going on with this prop.
Okay, wait. I forgot about this detail, too. He didn't even realize this was his arch enemy's great-grandson. Oh, a Loftmore. What a coincidence.
He just happened to come back to this town, and then there's David Warner firing a machine.
Which is such a weird thing to me, that the villain doesn't actually know that he has a connection to the hero of the story. God, this is great, too. It's just slowly twisting and firing.
I love any villain that has no idea he's in a movie until he's dying.
And the perfect turn so they can swap out the stuntman to dump him into the wax vat. It's fun.
That's totally wax and not just a bowl, like a giant vat of oatmeal they have them in.
Would you like a closer look? It's my catchphrase. Back to the wax.
It just looked like he had paper mache on his face. No, not the werewolf.
There's something so cruel about ripping the head off of a dude in a wheelchair who's in a fire at the top of a staircase.
Oh my goodness.
It's like Rainn Wilson stabbing that dude who's on fire in Super.
Honestly, the last exclamation point on that needed to be, he's then pushed down the stairs.
Director's cut.
I'm a little confused, because didn't he kill the werewolf with the silver sword before? Or
no, he killed Bobby Briggs.
Ah, okay.
Yes, he killed Bobby Briggs' werewolf, who is mid-werewolf. So, actually, if you're in eternally mid-werewolf, Could anything kill you, or does it still have to be silver?
I enjoyed the touch there of the detective trying to get out of the mummy's tomb as he's now being burnt alive.
Oh. So many
I missed all the action
in this movie.
Which means she's still alive in there.
Most of these, right, like a zombie can be destroyed by fire. I'm assuming a mummy can be destroyed by fire. The werewolf can't. That guy's just going to walk out of there and commit more evil.
Well, technically, they're all still made out of wax, aren't they?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, when the Marquis died, he kind of just became a wax statue again.
I think that's just very good wax acting.
That's true. That's very true.
It's like the mummy died by fire, Dracula by water. How do we use that?
Like all good wax movies, though, the waxwork has to end in fire.
Always.
It's like still a more convincing final burn than wax mask. So we're going up.
Yeah.
That goddamn hand.
The hand's still alive. The werewolf's still alive. What are we doing here? There's so much evil in the world.
So many things can happen. There could be mysterious recastings. We don't know.
They could get stuck in time.
God and the devil can exist in this universe.
Speaking
Seriously,
of God,
if you've never seen
devil,
Waxwork II, watch it. It's fucking delightful.
It's a trip. Has anyone else here seen Night Train to Terror?
No, I haven't.
Train to Terror? I can't remember. Sounds familiar to me.
I watched it recently, and the premise is Satan and God are sitting in a train car, and it's an anthology movie. So they just kind of pop into various people's lives and watch them, and they're betting on if the person's going to go to heaven or hell. It's a silly movie, but
that's actually kind of an incredible premise.
It's a fun premise, yeah. As long as you're talking about the devil and God existing in a kind of B-movie horror film.
That's the only place they do exist.
Yeah, they need to sit in a train car and have bets on how many souls they get for that session.
Work for Constantine.
That's pretty consistent God and devil behavior by most mythologies.
Yeah,
true. Bob Keane.
And cry if you want to. What a great kind of stinger to go on the credits after seeing, the whole building burn down and all the butlers dying.
All the butlers. It's very American Werewolf in London, which
it's
I like.
A wonderful song choice. I honestly love this.
How can I feel so jealous of the people who got to see this in a theater, not knowing what it was.
Who got to see that opening and not knowing what it was. That's just a guy's head on fire.
I didn't take the time to watch the trailer for this. I wonder how the trailer sold the movie. If it was leaning into the fact that it's a horror comedy, or if they really played up the horror aspect.
Waxwork man!
Courtesans. I just love how that was in there.
Werewolf Killer's Assistant is the premise of a movie, if I've ever heard one.
Marquis de Sade Girls.
Ooh.
Crash, flash, lash, and dash.
Jesus
I love these awesome
Christ.
superhero grips.
Oh no, bad dudes. All right, I'm watching the trailer now, and it's got a killer voiceover. Imagine a world of terror. Then the supernatural. They're kind of playing up the horror aspect more than the comedy aspect.
That's a mistake.
It's getting a little goofier as it goes.
If they don't have Hans
step
open
over
up the door.
rope. All right, they're not exactly hiding the comic parts of the movie, but they definitely are playing it up as a more horror film.
This was we don't actually know how to advertise this film kind of trailer.
It's being pretty straight up about the premise of the film, though. It showed multiple characters crossing into new realms. It's giving a lot away.
Look, we are going to put all of our advertising know-how into creating the perfect poster.
It's the greatest. But I would love to own that poster. I need to buy that.
So, dedicated to Hammer, Argento, Romero, Dante, Landis, Spielberg, Wells, Carpenter, and Mom and Dad.
No.
I feel like the poster for this movie would make a really good cardboard standout at a VHS shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I wonder if we can get that specially made.
Oh, I bet you could. I mean, probably be breaking some sort of copyright
cardboard
violation.
Hans for our own homes, perpetually welcoming us to the Waxworks.
Our own personal
a Hans
Waxworks.
as far as the eye can see.
Anyways, folks, that has been Waxwork. I kept saying, like, alternating between Waxworks and Waxwork, but
It's hard not to say Waxworks, yeah.
It's Waxwork with a no S. That seems very wrong to me.
Well, there's only one waxwork in the film. It's not like they visit multiple waxworks.
Yeah, I've always kind of thought, like, the waxworks would be the exhibits inside of a waxwork. They're the works of wax.
It's waxwork, but it's honest.
Let me see something.
Oh, no. We're going to the research phase of the podcast.
Okay, waxwork definition is... Oh, this is interesting. Okay. So, a waxwork is specifically the dummy. The actual wax dummy.
Okay, so a waxwork is a work of wax, singular.
British, it is an exhibition of wax mummies.
Okay, so we can blame this on Hickox being British.
Yes.
Got
that would be what's going on there.
You learn something every day.
Well, at least our commentary was informative in some way.
Yeah, we just had to force these people to stick around for like an hour 45 before they got to anything interesting.
You know, sometimes these can just be fun, and it can just be for us. I've been looking forward to this all week. I fucking love waxwork.
Well, now I feel like the jerk.
I don't know why I got mad at the audience.
Oh, I thought you were mad at me. Yeah, you can yell at them all you want. They don't exist.
No, of course not. I only have hatred for the audience.
You sons of bitches. If you bastards want any more of this content, you can find more slop over at boxofficepulp.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We have a whole bunch of other commentaries. If you randomly popped into this one, we've been on a slow kick of wax movies for the last few months. So go check those out. Keep the waxing up.
Winter's
And actually,
wax.
since I'm banking these, since I'm banking the season of wax, these actually might come out in succession instead of several months apart. Maybe, I don't know. We could still screw it up.
These are never
It's a
coming
mystery.
out. No one, if you're listening to this, it somehow means we're dead and we just released the archives.
No, I'm having all of copies of Box Office Pulp buried in my tomb.
I like the idea of putting a podcast onto a physical medium so you can be buried with them.
Just old reels, just old reel-to-reels that are then buried with me.
Microfiche tape for some reason.
And Jamie, what is the special thing about my tomb?
It can only be opened from the inside.
See, I like to test my friends to make sure they follow through with my wishes upon my death.
See, I assumed, Mike, you were one of those guys who would want a tomb that had a telephone line going into a mansion next door.
So you can bother the rich.
Yes, from beyond the grave. Please, actually, Mike, do that. Could you get like your coffin and have the inside like all torn up, like you were trying to scratch your way out, in case like archaeologists ever find you, they're just gonna be terrified. Like, he was buried alive.
I just write death is only the beginning on the inside of my coffin, throw people off.
I think these are all wonderful ideas. Folks at home, if you have wonderful ideas for how you should be buried or how we should be buried, you can go ahead and send those to us. We technically have a Twitter account, but I don't want to go there anymore.
We're going to move over to Blue Sky. I need to set that up. Just message on, even Facebook is questionable, but whatever. You can message us somewhere, boxofficepulp@gmail.com.
We're reachable.
Yeah.
Anyways, we hope you had a good time. Go listen to more pop. I got confused with my words. I was going to say more Wax Office Pulp. And that,
Wax Office Pulp. I like that.
Why didn't we name the season of Wax that? That's awesome.
Yeah, we fucked up.
I thought we would give the series a new name every episode.
Yeah. This is called a Midwest Goodbye, where it takes forever and you just want to go home, but you can't because we keep talking. Anyways, how was your evening, folks? Did you have a good time? Did you have fun? Yeah? Okay. Get the hell out of here. That's a wrap.
Do you think anybody listening to this had a sexual awakening during the whipping scene?
Statistically, yes.
Cool.
You get more out of life when you go out to a movie.
When we were making the adamantium jokes, I wanted to make one about Uncle Ben being drowned in the adamantium, but it was too inside baseball for the audience. Like, I was going to do my impression, Uncle Ben being drowned by adamantium.
Oh God, then it's just the ending panel from The Death of Wolverine, but it's Uncle Ben.
Well,
Just Tobey Maguire with his arms around Uncle Ben,
Where?
statuesque Uncle Ben.
See, now that's how I want to be buried. Solid block of adamantium.
Please remember to replace the speaker on the post when you leave the theater.
This here show is brought to you by Zencastr, the all-in-one solution for podcasting that's easy as logging in and hitting record. With Zencastr, you get studio-quality sound up to 4K video right from your browser. No more worrying about unstable connections. Thanks to Zencastr's multi-layered backups that ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality. But that's not all. Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound like a pro. It automatically removes those pesky ums and ahs and even those awkward pauses in conversation. If only it could remove those from my love life. But gone are the days of needing a bunch of different tools and services to create a podcast. Zencastr's complete platform lets you create, edit, and distribute your podcast all in one place, allowing you to easily publish to Spotify, Apple, and all other major destinations. So why wait? Start your podcasting journey with Zencastr today and experience the Zen of podcasting. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code BOXOFFICEPULP, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.